Okay, get ready for this. We're not talking about some simple software bug or, your computer crashing. We're about to dive into a fundamental glitch in the operating system of existence itself. Yeah, a bug that's been running since the dawn of time. So what is the universe's oldest background process? It's like this ghost in the machine, you know? It's been running silently for millennia, influencing everything. And believe it or not, it all comes down to this one ancient Pali word, Bhavāsava. All right, so to really get what this glitch is all about, we have to go look at its source code. And to do that, we need to dive into the ancient Pali language, because that's where this whole concept was first documented. Okay, so the first part of the word is bhava. The best way to think about this is like the core energy of materializing. It's that fundamental impulse in the universe to become something, to appear, to generate a new state of being. It's just that raw, primal drive to exist. And then we have the second part, asava. Now, this is where it gets super interesting. This word basically translates to something like an inflow, or maybe even better, a deep system leak. Just imagine this persistent, contaminating current that's seeping into the very core of a system, kind of corrupting it from the inside out. So you put those two together and bam, you get Bhavāsava. So what's our modern tech-savvy translation based on that source code? Think of it as a constant data leak, a leak that's fueled by the will to exist. And this isn't just some simple desire, okay? We're talking about a fundamental system flaw that keeps the whole show running. So, okay, that's the theory. But let's look at how this glitch actually shows up in the real world. Because this isn't just some dusty, ancient philosophy, it has real-world effects. And we can actually understand them perfectly with a few modern analogies. Okay, first up, let's look at it as a zombie process. Now, if you've ever worked in IT or system administration, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. It's basically a program that just refuses to die. So here's how it works, right? You, the user, you try to force quit an application, but there's this little hidden process, a monitor, that sees you do that. And what does it do? The second you shut it down, it immediately relaunches the program. You literally cannot shut it down. It just runs forever, completely against your will. And this is such a brilliant way to understand the first manifestation of Bhavāsava. Just like that zombie process forces a program to reboot over and over, this deep-seated leak forces our consciousness into an infinite reboot loop. So even when one life ends, that underlying process just relaunches a new one. Okay, so that's the infinite reboot. But what about all the data from each one of those reboots? Where does it go? Well, this brings us to our second analogy, the compulsive cloud sync. I mean, just think about your smartphone's automatic cloud sync. It's a feature we all pretty much take for granted, right? It's just this constant silent backup of our entire digital lives, always running in the background. Your physical phone, it could get totally smashed, fall in a lake, whatever. But it doesn't really matter, does it? All your important stuff, your photos, your contacts, your entire digital identity, it's all perfectly safe up there in the cloud. You just get a new device, you sign in, and poof, everything is instantly restored. And that's the crucial point right there. Bhavāsava acts just like this compulsive perpetual data backup. It's like this obsessive syncing of our core command, that little voice that says, I must continue, to some kind of cosmic database. It makes sure your core data is always, always saved, just ready to be restored onto new hardware. But here's the thing. This glitch isn't just about simply continuing, about backing up the same old data. It's also about this relentless drive for improvement. And that brings us to our third and final analogy, the never-ending software upgrade. You know the drill, the endless cycle of software upgrades, that constant, familiar push for the next, better version of everything. I mean, think about it. Is any software developer ever truly satisfied with the current version? No way. There's always another bug to fix, another feature to add, and this creates that never-ending cycle of developing version 2.0, then 3.0, and on and on. It's this perpetual motion of expansion and, supposed improvement. And this maps directly to a much subtler aspect of Bhavāsava. Get this, even our most noble desires, wanting to be a better person, trying to achieve a more blissful state, maybe even getting into heaven. From the system's perspective, all of that is just a compulsive drive for a version 2.0 release. It's just more data bloat. So, when you put it all together, the infinite reboot loop, the compulsive cloud sync, the endless version upgrades, what do you actually have? Well, you have the universe's oldest background service. It's always on, it's always running, and it's constantly draining system resources just to maintain an active state. And here's the most critical takeaway of all. This glitch, it's not a feature. It's the engine oil of rebirth. From a pure system perspective, this endless cycle of rebooting, suffering, and dying is just a massive error loop. And Bhavāsava, that's the fuel that keeps the whole broken machine running. Okay, so if we've diagnosed the problem, this ancient bug at the very core of our operating system, then the next logical step has to be finding the solution, right? How in the world do you achieve a complete and total shutdown? I mean, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? If your entire existence is built on a self-perpetuating glitch that literally forces you to continue, how do you possibly stop the cycle? Well, the source material actually outlines a pretty clear 3-step debugging process. Step 1 is to see the false command. You have to recognize that this deep impulse to exist is actually a system error. Step 2, stop the data leak. You halt the flow of that will to become. And finally, step 3, delete the logic. You erase that compulsive reboot instruction at its very root. So what happens then? What happens when that core reboot logic is finally and completely deleted? Well, the system doesn't just crash. No. Instead, it achieves a state of immortal peace, a true, final, stable shutdown. And this state of ultimate peace, this state of a system finally at rest, totally free from the glitch of endless becoming, it has a name. Nibbana. The complete and final shutdown.